Siras, can you start? Good morning, folks. It looks like my anchor is not able to join it here. So maybe in interest of time, I should get right into it and start and maybe do my own introduction. Hi, I'm Naveen Surya. I am chairman of Fintech Convergence Council. And here I'm also representing as an advisory board member of Blockchain and Crypto Asset Council. So welcome all of you to first ever uh, HODL 21 conference. I mean, whether I should call it hold or whether I should call it hold on to dear life is what we will discuss in next today and tomorrow. I think both the terms are pretty apt for the current status of the Indian crypto industry, and there are multiple aspects to it which we will discuss. So it's first ever conference where the entire crypto exchange industry has come together and in the India, and they're presenting an open platform to interact and discuss over 2 days all the, let's say, all the issues, good, bad, ugly, amazing opportunities to risk that we are going to foresee. So please do make amazing 2 days and make best of it. I think it just reminds me and make me nostalgic, takes me to about 15 years back when we saw our first ever payment conference for non-banks. And I could tell you at that time we were pretty much in the same similar situation. Complete new entities, new regulator had not interacted with non-banks. There were a lot of ifs and buts. There are a lot of let's say trust issues. So we actually had started forming a group, people coming together, talking as a non-bank payment institution for the first time. Interestingly, that conference just saw about 250 people in the first edition. Of course, now when we do it, it sees over 2,000 people. Like it has happened here, the excitement is seen by that there are more than 2,000 people already registered for this event. So that's a good start and very exciting. So I, on behalf of the entire BACC and all the industry, welcome all of you. I think this has been a very interesting year, despite pandemic, despite all the odds. For this particular industry, I think the growth has been amazing. We have come a long way, whether you talk in from a global terms or a local terms. What started in 2009 January as a very interesting concept called Bitcoin went on to get trading started in 2010. Probably early days, some about 200 kind of million kind of a transactions. Today, you're talking about a market size upward of about $2.4 billion in a very, very short, less than a decade time, an amazing growth. And if you look at India in particular as a market, it has grown almost 6 times in less than a year. What was about few $100 million is today more than 6.5 to about $7 billion industry, and the number of players are exponentially increasing every month, not even a year. So that's amazing progress that we've seen in a less than a year, and again, as I said, in a less than a decade for the entire world. What has come in as a, so again, this is an innovation you could put in a lines of the way internet changed the world, the way mobiles changed the world, and you exactly had to deal with the similar issues. Early days internet, nobody knew how good, bad, ugly it will be or how useful will it be. The parents used to be very nervous about the kids having access, all kind of wrong things coming into their mind. Again, same issues. Internet can be used for the wrong things. Same thing with mobile. Should you give access to everybody to the mobile? Again, a lot of crimes happen where mobile gets used, but let's not forget that there also becomes a tool to also detect the crime and actually catch the criminals. That becomes one of the biggest advantage. So these are the similar technologies, and we are at the same stage where people are still understanding this technology, what could be the impact on the entire, let's say, the economy, the society, both in terms of let's say crimes, in terms of risk, in terms of value creation, and on opportunity size. How do you create wealth? How do you create and change the experiences as internet and mobiles have changed? So it has both sides to the coin, and I hope next 2 days we'll have multiple sessions discussing that. uh, it also reminds me that we are at a moment when there was a time, first time paper currencies were introduced, probably somewhere around 11th or 12th century in China, and then later on what was packed to a gold in probably somewhere early 1800 to 1900, and then somewhere at some stage the whole convertible instrument of paper into gold became as a fiat currency. And I'm sure it was a lot of eyebrows were raised that time because there were a lot of confusion, a lot of distrust that something which was always convertible into gold is now suddenly not. All it has is the backing of a government's promise to pay. So it was a very big moment. I wish we had some of those people available to us to mentor us. Thankfully, we do have some of the experts who've gone through some of the changes, like Mr. Rai, Dr. Rai, who will be in the next session. He has seen that when the internet came and there was like a high trust issue, how the regulation and how the approach of the government was. So I would say that these are the kind of times that we have seen, and this is an interesting stage that we are at. And probably we will need to look at some of these I would say information deficit or understanding deficit to kind of come together, whether it is in the industry itself about the possible risk and impact, or whether it is in the governments and regulators and the larger bodies who have their own concerns. How do we come together and take each one of them and find a workable solution which actually takes maximum advantage of this technology that is available to us? There also has been some other challenges which have been always talked about: illicit use of such currencies. Now, interestingly, I was just looking at another session of someone, and somebody from US was talking that today, dollar, which is supposed to be the biggest currency in the world in terms of liquidity and usage, in fact, has more illicit transaction use than the Bitcoin. Bitcoin probably is ranging between 1.5% and 2%. Dollar would go probably as high as 8%. But it doesn't mean that we stop using it. We only find ways and means to contain and curtail it better. Same way, another issue that was talked about, which is the energy consumption, especially for the Bitcoin, and a lot of question around the environmentalist had raised. And to be honest, even I'm a proponent of a green in a big way. But we forget that those issues exist whether you talk about, let's say, usage in US just of the power consumption by fridges or ACs across the globe. They would have at least 5 to 6 times more energy consumption. You talk about some traditional industries like cement, like iron and ore, probably they even 5 to 10 times more energy consumption. So nowhere we are trying to say that energy consumption too much, especially if it is not a green energy, is good. It is definitely issue, but certain points that are raised, they are raised in isolation. We're just trying to add more data to it, and we're saying that each of these points needs to look at as an apple-to-apple comparison. We need to, again, there are issues like volatility. And I was hearing some trader, in fact, they said that volatility, if it is in a certain range, it actually is an opportunity. No volatility means there is no incentive or opportunity for people to enter or create value or even look at it. So those are kind of paradoxical views which needs to be looked probably on both sides, and comparison has to be apple to apple. I hope those discussions will again happen during today and tomorrow's 2-day sessions. Interestingly, we in India are at a moment where all of us are waiting. Things have changed from early days when there was no regulation. The trading started booming. There were already 4 or 5 exchanges doing well. India was positioned as probably in Ripple amongst top 2 or 3 trading countries. And then suddenly came a particular circular from the central bank, which put all of that to end. Some of the big exchanges had to shut down that time, unfortunately. A lot of consumers had to close their position at whatever value they were getting. Thanks to, again, Supreme Court's judgment, which actually did say that the central bank has all the powers to intervene and then take decision in this matter, because that is more important aspect. But probably the action is a little bit of a disproportionate. So they allowed at least this activity to continue till the government takes a final view whether this activity remains legal in the country, which it is today. Till the time they take a view. Of course, we saw a draft bill which seek to ban all the private cryptos. 3 years back, the first draft came, and then at the same time allow CBDC. I'm always of a view that these two are different subjects and they shouldn't get mixed. CBDC should anyway, we should go ahead. There's no controversy, no debate. And our view was always very clear that, of course, this private crypto is a new concept. Any new ideas always have evolves and they have a certain risk within that evolution. So we should look at the risk, we should mitigate it. But instead of banning it, we should rather regulate it. Because I personally believe that given the regulators that we have, whether SEBI, whether RBI, and the way they have managed the financial stability in our country over decades altogether, they've seen ups and downs, they've seen all kind of, let's say, challenges, and even successfully manages even futures, options, commodities trading, which are also full of risk, which has equal challenges. And we are now opening even foreign equity trading by the Indian consumer. So we already understand the subject. We have regulators which are equipped and they know each of these risks. The only part we need to understand is how this technology works and how it will impact in long term and the future, and probably marry these two. Probably we could be probably achieve our ambition. Somewhere India wants to be a digital superpower, and we can't miss any major developments that happens in technology, whether it is on a IT side, whether it is on a digital technology, or now on crypto. In fact, this could be our path to become a digital superpower. So again, as I said, that the key question will remain that whether the government approach will remain on a regulation side or a banning side. I hope it's more regulation, and post once they decide that it is regulation, then what could be the structure of regulators, sorry, regulation, who could be the regulators for certain aspects, will it be division, will it be centralized? So all those questions are there, which we'll continue to discuss and debate. So in brief, just to summarize, I think next 2 days you could expect about close to 18 sessions, almost 15 hours of content, over 100 speakers, almost 20 to 25 speakers are from global experience with a lot of things that they've already done. And as I said, over 2,000 people that we have looking at attending in a very first edition, which itself shows a very exciting kind of support. I also am very happy and pleased to see good participation from the government side. Some of the members from Parliament as well as Rajya Sabha and the states assemblies have joined. There are also ex-regulators from RBI, SEBI who are joining. We hope that in coming years we'll also have active participation from the existing regulators and their officials as well as we move ahead, and we will continue our dialogue. So I again welcome you all, and I look forward to this 2 days of very exciting discussion. And we hope all that we do together, all that we kind of work together on, does put India on a path to become a digital superpower. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for an energetic opening of the conference. I would request everyone to please stay tuned as the first session of the day will go live in just 5 minutes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Can someone take me the backstage, or do I need to end it?